Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Tuesday night. I figured I would hit you guys with something that was just kind of a beautiful image to get you through the rest of the evening. I figured I was kind of going, I was going through a few of these photos and figured I'd start it off right. I mean, that's a badass afro right there. Look at that, getting a little painting in for you guys. Only the good stuff for you guys. So, all right, I can't look at that stuff. I can't look at that anymore. So that's ridiculous. So, but hey, guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. Greatly appreciate it. So, as we're kind of coming up on Christmas, these next probably depending on how things go for next week, just kind of light, fun live streams. Beginning of next year, we'll start to get into a few more, other kinds of things as well. So. I think as we get into 2024, I'd like to really kind of also focus a little bit more on, getting guests on rather than me just doing these kinds of things. These are fun, but still at the end of the day, I enjoy having people on and listening to them, how they got into whiskey and just kind of communicating with you guys on things. So that's why, like tonight, and I think hopefully kind of going forward, if I'm doing these kind of lives, I want to kind of keep the first 10 or 15 minutes for you guys, and you can ask questions. We can talk about whatever topics that you guys would like to kind of chat about, and then we'll get into tonight's blind. I mean, it is what kind of got me thinking is just everyone always constantly chasing after the allocated stuff. You get into price and how much you're willing to pay for it. So I said to the wife, hey, can we just put a little kind of a blind together, and I'm going to go through all 5 of them, and I'm going to try to guess the least expensive to most expensive, and we'll see kind of how it all falls. I mean, doing these blind, again, I have no idea what any of this is. She gave me a key, which is over there. And I'll go through these and try to put them in some kind of order from, again, least expensive to the most expensive and see how it falls. And this will be really kind of a cool way to see, really where some of these whiskeys rank, what they are. I'll try to give it a guess as to what they are, but we all know how that goes. So, let's see. So let me first say hi to a bunch of people that were in here early. Thanks everyone for joining tonight. Greatly appreciate it. So Top Dog, as always, Truman was in here. Mr. Mark S, good to see you, buddy. Roy R does cocktails. BT, good to see you. Mr. Beaton, been a while. Good to see you, buddy. Mr. Brandon W, good to see you, bud. I know we were kind of chatting before about the golf. It looked like some pretty incredible stuff. So that was pretty awesome. So, Mr. Toner, how you doing, bud? Let's see what else we got here. What's going on, brother? Good to see you as always. Sugar Kitty, good to see you. What's going on, Bourbon Neophyte? Good to see you, buddy. I think I already said hi to Kitty, but also hi to you again. Mr. Tim Corney, good to see you, Timmy. Top Dog, I already said hi to John. Truman's in here. Good to see you, Eric. Thanks for jumping in. There's my buddy in the Northeast. Good to see you, Lance. Hopefully you're doing well. Boyd, good to see you. There's my brother. Good to see you, Keno. How you doing? Hopefully your trip went really well. So anyway, let's do this. Let's kind of open it up for you guys. I want to make this as much about you as it is all of this. So if you've got any questions or anything along those lines, feel free to hit me with any of those things. So we'll make this a fun one. So you guys have 10, 15 minutes and we'll make it about you guys. And look at there you go. Question number 1, how are you doing? I can answer that, Keno. I am doing fantastically. So thanks for asking. So all right, question number 1 out of the way. So what else you guys got? Anybody pick up any bottles recently? Anything? This is about you guys. Keno, hopefully like I said before, hopefully your trip went really well. But and then one thing before I forget, after this, we'll be doing a Patreon only live. We'll kind of be doing some updates, what we've got coming this Friday, and then also sipping on some of the Driftless Glen donuts, and of course the rare character, that rye. Be really interested to hear people's opinions on that one. That thing that was a whole just it was crazy what happened with that rare character. But anyway, so yeah, so what do you guys got? How's the weather? Good. The whiskeys you're sipping on, anything good, bad, whatever it may be. All right, here we go. What do we got? If you were, let's see, if you were to get a Christmas bourbon in the $70 range and a bottle that looks real cool for a gift, what would you get? I always choose Lucky 7. Oh man, Christmas bourbon that's in the $70 range and a bottle that looks really cool. Boy, that's an interesting one. Boy, $70 range. I don't know, man. I guess like that's a cool bottle. Boy, in the $70 range. Yeah, I would say the Lucky 7 ones are pretty good. Those are different shape bottles. I'm just kind of looking around in the $70 range. That's interesting. I don't know, maybe a Smoke Wagon also, maybe something from Smoke Wagon. Their bottles have a little bit of that kind of design and flair on the bottle. Some of them are nowadays relatively easy to get. So, you can maybe go with something like that. Dare I say Blanton's, if that's a possibility, but I think we all understand how that goes. So let's see. Recently, what do we got here? Recent pickup, Barrel Amburana. Yeah, so boy, that was when I did a review of that one. And to be honest, it was probably, if not my favorite, one of the top two. I think they did a really good job of not losing the whiskey in the Amburana, because that's something I can just go off the rails for me really, really quickly. So, oh no, shingles. Oh man, that's not good, man. Hopefully you're feeling okay. That's not I'm not supposed to be drinking alcohol, but take it for what it is, right? All right, Eric, what do you got? Do you have your top whores of the year picked yet? So I think I do. I've got 4 of them right now, and it's interesting because I think everyone's lists are always different. But what I try to do with those is make it at least things that are kind of available, or for the most part available. Just throwing every allocated bourbon that very few people have an opportunity to get, to me is like, it's I don't want to just necessarily do those. I want there to be things on there for that. So, but I think I've got, for the most part, most that were available, or maybe even still are available. So working on that as well. So got picked in Woodman's raffle my first time. Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's probably one of their best ones. Choice was that or Rock Hill. Oh yeah, I would have probably gone with the Handy as well. I think that's a pretty easy one. So yep, the Grand Marnier. Hopefully, maybe you can tune in later to our live. We can sip on that Holiday Toast. That's a nice one. The Holiday Toast. That's one I don't think I've ever done a review of. I've got a bottle and never did. Might be an appropriate time to be doing the Holiday Toast. It's something I really dig. So, man, you didn't just pick that up. So Brian, where in the world did you get that? You can text me later if you want. August has been a very interesting bottle. August, maybe Augusta has been very interesting bottle. God, that'd be awesome. That Four Roses LE23. Usually when I'm on a store and I'm trying to see breakfast Thursday, customers. Yeah, $70. Like, I mean, honestly, if you didn't care about the bottle, I would even recommend, just as a good bourbon to give someone. Like, I think the Old Forester 1920 is just a fantastic bottle, and it's probably even a little cheaper than that. So, Little Book 7, it's one TCT I've not tried yet. Have heard good things. Have seen what the blends are, kind of like that. So, Stacy, how's it going? If you guys have not checked out Stacy's YouTube channel, 4 Leaf Whiskey, definitely do yourself a favor and do so. Waiting on the Lost Lantern 2020 Winter Collection, Brooklyn Baker, Kings County. Yeah, so we're working the Kings County stuff. Not something I get a chance to try too often, but whatever. Oh, raffle time. All right, well that's kind of cool. That's an awesome raffle. That's for sure. Look at this man, the Barrel King himself. Thanks, bud. Oh yeah, you got it. You got it. Very welcome. Yeah, love the holiday toast. All right, what else you guys got? So let's see. If have I got anything recently? I'm trying to think of. I'll tell you one thing I've been drinking recently, and I don't know how many of you are familiar or have tried it, but some of the things that either Ben Holiday or Holiday Distilling out of Missouri, and what it is that they're doing is are absolutely fantastic. I'm working on a tasting, and this will all be done through Patreon as well to some of the patrons. But if you haven't had anything from what it is they're doing, especially their Rickhouse proof, both the Weeder and just their rye bourbon, both absolutely fantastic. And it's a brand for me that is flying under the radar. I think once they kind of gain a little more traction, things are going to be kind of hot and heavy for them. So, but it's a brand that I'm really looking forward to seeing what kind of how things really start to take off for them in 2024. So, yeah, so we'll be doing that. I'm going to be doing a Patreon only in about an hour ish, give or take. Yeah, 8:15, 9:15, depending on where you are Eastern time. But yeah, in the next hour or so, we'll be doing a Patreon only live. We'll be chatting a little bit about that, Brian. So if you want to pop in, or I can shoot you a text as well. So, all right, Polly, what do you got? Scott, quick quiz. One bottle per shelf behind you, both sides, is all you can save in a fire. Go. I think one of them would be my Old Carter Batch 1 American Whiskey. And on that side, boy, what would I save over there? Either maybe one of the old Scouts, or maybe even one of the very first bottles of the Barrel King that I've got in the back. So Jared was nice enough to send me bottle number 1 of maybe one of the first things that they ever did. So that was pretty cool. So I'd maybe do that, Paul. Was able to get a Disco 11. Can't go wrong with the Discos. They're just one of the top things that they've got out there. What's up, Blanchard? Good to see you, buddy. Look at this guy lurking. Good to see you, bud. Hopefully your live stream wrapped up pretty good. So looked like you had a good one from Todd and Andy. So, yeah, this is one thing. When you and I were talking when we were down in Louisville in October-ish or whatever, some of the Irish whiskeys are just things that I want to be able to try. Maybe I'll make a little bit of a resolution to try more Irish whiskey, and maybe even what you and I could work on, if you want, is maybe doing a little kind of blind, or having you on my channel or me on yours or whatever, and kind of doing something along those lines and exploring a little bit more of the Irish side of things, because it's something I really enjoy. I just don't have many, and it's something I find myself not picking up more than I probably should. So. Credit card to make. Yeah, that's a good one, Truman. That's not something we've considered yet, but having a Mash and Journey dedicated credit card would probably be pretty cool. So, thoughts on Mash Journey? I thought it was good, man. I think what it is that he's going to bring to them, his palate and his blending skills are fantastic. So I think what Matt is. What Matt's going to be able to bring to them is something pretty special. So, let's see. Old Scout tenure from 2015. Some of those are. I think I've got a 13, maybe a couple of 2013. Those were 11. Yeah, those were 11 years up there, Kino. Let's see. What do we got here? I would love to just try them and see what it is that you've got that because I'm still like relatively new to that side of things, and I would love to. So maybe we can kind of chat once we're done with here in the next couple of days, and just maybe plan on something. I think that'd be a really fun live stream to do. So cannot go wrong with that. Love the Sagamore Spirit Double Oak, one of those underrated ones. So. All right, so we are 15 minutes in. Well, that didn't take very long. So thanks, guys. Appreciate you playing along with kind of the first 15 minutes or so. But so anyway, so what I've got tonight, fortunately for me, I guess fortunate, I'm probably going to embarrass the hell out of myself, but I've got 5 different samples here. Don't have any idea what they are. I've got the key over here. So once we're done, again, I'm going to be able to try to put a price on these and rank them from what I think is based on how I enjoy it, the profile, all of that. Kind of think in my mind what I'm willing to kind of pay for or pay for it, and then rank it in that order from least to most expensive. So we'll kind of dive into that and see really how this whole thing goes. I think my wife's pretty good with understanding the value of a lot of these things. And what we'll do is, I think as I'm going through, because I doubt she put any prices on any of that. So hopefully I'll have a good idea, or we can always refer to, I'll use a phone a friend or something and go to you guys and see what the consensus for the dollar amount for that bottle may be. So definitely, if you want to know about Irish whiskey, definitely check her channel out. It is fine. So all right, let's get into this thing. So I've got my little pen, got my little pad here. We'll dive into this, got my water, and we'll dive into it. So let's get going, and I'll try to keep an eye on the chat and monitor that stuff and see how this is all going tonight. So let me get rid of this, and we are underway. All right, let's start with this one. And again, I'm going to probably rank. So at the end of the night, it'll be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Not necessarily in this order, but I'm going to move them around and see kind of again what we're thinking price wise. So with Christmas and stuff coming up, what's everyone's plans? Do you guys kind of stay home? Do you travel? Do you go far away? What are some of your plans? Wow, it's a beautiful nose. Actually, there's a lot of like orange on that. Makes me like an orange citrus. It's making me think of like an MGP. I think what I'll probably need to do is go through these kind of fairly quickly, start to get an idea of maybe what they are, and then start to put them in a price ranking. Not yet. Not any of the wheat. Now, geez, that stuff was supposed to be a while out. I have not seen any of that stuff recently. And talking to Justin, who's their sales director, said that it didn't sound like they were going to have the wheated bourbons anytime soon. Whether or not that's the case, I don't know. Shuffle off to Buffalo, see the entire family. Isn't that what was the movie? Was it Home Alone? Is it Home Alone where where one of the scenes where they visited the in-laws in Buffalo, in balmy Buffalo, I think he called it. It was either Home Alone or it was what was that? I don't think Christmas Vacation maybe, but travel to Ohio. Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, for me, for a lot of years, my wife's family's not really around here, and I've got very little family around here, so we end up doing stuff mostly Christmas Eve, and then it's just usually my wife Julie and I for Christmas, and then going forward on that. So, all right, I'm gonna stop rambling here and taste this one, see what we've got. Cheers, guys! Thanks everyone for joining tonight. Appreciate it. Huh. Soft, creamy, a lot of vanilla. Makes me almost think like a wheated bourbon is kind of coming across. It's spicy like a wheated bourbon. Oftentimes you do get a little hint of that heat from a wheated bourbon. I do anyway, but there's this softness to it. Feels a little bit like a wheated bourbon. So I don't know, like my first instinct or my first thought would be maybe like a like a maker's cast strength or something like that. No, we don't celebrate Boxing Day, so we stick to the Americanized stuff here, bud. So speaking of Boxing Day, do you guys know why they call it Boxing Day? I just learned this not that long ago, actually. I was always wondering. You think of boxing as though like the sport boxing, but it had nothing to do with that. So I want to see the first reply as to what the Boxing Day in Canada refers to. All right, this is getting a little deeper now. Actually, let's see. I don't want to put that on there. I was gonna start putting prices down, but I don't know. Yeah, I was thinking either the boxing of leftovers, or I've even heard like boxing up all the gifts and um for um returning things along those lines. So all right, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Hell. So what's up, brother? Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, good luck. We'll see how this goes. So all right, nice nose on that. Kind of classic, kind of feels like a typical bourbon. All right, interesting. Doesn't feel like a lot of proof. Nice brown sugars. But I don't think my first thought is based on the profile. It feels like I was gonna say like Old Forester, like 1910 or something like that, but I don't know if it's rich enough to be that. Good brown sugars and everything on it though. Feels like right out of the gate. My initial thought, I'm just gonna like rattle off a price. I'll see if I can change these. But if I'm thinking like in my head like what it is, this felt like a Maker's to me. I'm gonna say 40 dollars. This to me, it doesn't feel very proofy. Maybe 100 proof. It feels like maybe a little bit less. What would I pay for that though? Doesn't feel like one that would be worth more than 30 or 35 bucks. So this feels maybe a little bit better, but I don't know. Let's see. We'll be talking a little bit about that later on after this live stream. I'll post another. I'll post a link in Patreon. We'll talk all about that and let you guys know more details on that one as well. So, all right, now we're talking. This is getting to be a little bit bigger, richer. Mm. Oh, it's got a little bit of proof on it. Mm. Little, I don't know if that's the oak, or there's a little bit of an astringent note to that a little bit. Maybe I'll have to come back to that more, like just more woody. It's definitely woody. I'll have to come back to that. Feels like it might be older. There's a little bit of that dusty kind of older oak note. Again, nice brown sugars on that. Maybe even some maple. Nice baking spice. Probably my initial thought would be it's kind of coming across a little bit as like a Heaven Hill kind of product. And there's not any like nuttiness that's there to it. Feels like maybe that 105 proof, maybe 110 tops. Interesting. price wise, my initial thought would be, boy, no more than, I don't know, 65 or 70 bucks there, maybe. All right, this smells a little bit nicer here. Hmm. Lots of vanillas, lots of caramels. Again, a little bit more of that kind of tried and true bourbon nose. Hmm. Good baking spice. Hmm. Again, that's a little flatter coming off of 3, but lot of sweetness on that one. I wouldn't say like a lot going on, but it feels like a lot of like sweetness to this one though. Honey, brown sugars, maybe a little bit of toffee. Hmm. It doesn't feel very proofy to me at all though. It feels like maybe 100, 105 tops. And again, I have no idea what's been poured. I have zero idea what any of these things are. I don't really even know what that is, but all right, so this smells older. So this smells there's like a little bit of a smokiness that's there, more older wood. Lots of like kind of cherry pipe tobacco. Pretty decent color to it. Hmm. Oh, that's definitely something older. I don't think it's stag, Paul. I don't think it's stag. Boy, this almost has a really like a slight like dusty characteristic to it. It smells like an older whiskey. It tastes like an older whiskey. A lot of that kind of like a lot of cherry notes coming out in that one. I mean that profile is not on a lot of things. That's making me think that she's maybe grabbed something that I've got that's a little older. Honest, oh boy, I don't know what the proof was on that. My first thought was like maybe an old Carter or something, but yeah, the American whiskey batch one isn't. That's what I was thinking, but that's not 100. That doesn't feel like 130 some proof. I mean, it could be maybe batch 5, but I think those still have some proof to them a little bit too. I have no idea. Oh, that's a good question. It doesn't, Chris. It doesn't feel like an Old Forester single barrel, but there's definitely some smoke or some really more barrel char influence on this one. I mean, just by default on that one, it feels like it's maybe the most like well-rounded, but I want to go back through these and just kind of see what these are, and I can start to kind of maybe put them in an order. Oh, that's interesting. I'm getting this like real like nice like fruit pie. Wow, what is that? Maybe almost like floral. I don't know, is that like a Four Roses or something? Oftentimes, Four Roses will give you that kind of flatness, floral, honey. Why, it's a nice nose. It's interesting. It's something different, that's for sure. It really is not something that smells very, very familiar at all. Yeah, I don't know. I'm like four feels a little bit like a four roses of some sort. Let's see what we've got with three. Hmm. Deeper, richer. Yeah, it's getting a little heavier now on three. Yeah, one, there doesn't feel like a lot on that. Hmm. I'd say like right now, like if I just start moving these things around in terms of what feels like the most expensive, I'm gonna leave the most expensive ones here, the less expensive ones here. So I'd probably switch these two up. Actually, this is a pretty nice nose too. Two feels. Hmm, go back to one. Hmm. Yeah, two is. Hmm. Yeah, see this one right here smells old. Boy, that's nice too. Oh, yeah, that's got a little bit of proof. That really kind of kicked in. Man, yeah, I'd maybe switch those two. This one that I had there felt richer. This was the one that felt like an older, like more dusty profile. Yeah, these one, two, and three, I'm gonna have to figure out like where I'd maybe go with those because these are the interesting ones. Boy, that's a lot of citrus. There's a lot of citrus on that. Like one is coming across as it's like so much citrus that it's making me think of like MGP of some sort like that because it just that's oftentimes what you'll get with it and it's feeling like it's MGP, but boy, it could be a lot of things. Hmm. Two's kind of getting a little bit better on the nose. Yeah, this one just feels slightly flatter. Like it just is not, there's not a lot going on with that one. I'd maybe switch that there. I think that's probably the least expensive one. These two right now, just based on the profile, feel the most expensive. Boy, that's a lot of orange on that. Boy, that's a little bit of a. Actually, the more I kind of get into this one, it's a nice nose. That's a lot of that vanilla kind of continues to come out in this one. What's up, Andrew? Good to see you, buddy. You might be a happy man come Friday. Boy, that feels. I mean, that smells nice. Man, I'm gonna probably be so far off on these things. So I'm trying to like think in my mind like what I've got. I mean, I don't have a lot of like really like I don't mean to like sound like a jerk, but like a lot of like really like inexpensive or low end like whiskeys. Like I've got some that I have around that I've had for a while, but I'm just trying to think of, and when I say that, I mean stuff that's like less than that $50 range, outside of things I use for like cocktails and stuff. But yeah, these two feel rich. This one here, this is growing on me actually. I'm starting to really kind of dig that one. That's got, I mean, it's ridiculous how much like orange there is. Yeah, that feels the lowest proof. And I think there's less going on with that one by far. Hmm. I just wish there was more. The nose is really nice on that. I wish there was more on the palate. These two feel, relatively average in comparison to at least these two and possibly that one. Yeah, that's got a little bit of that dusty old wood on that one. Just making me, it's coming across as like man, I don't know what the hell that is. I wanted to say like Old Carter or something, but I don't think it's that. I don't think it's high enough proof for especially what those are. And again, I don't know if that's where she would have pulled from or not, but I've got stuff in here and then also downstairs as well. But all right, let me go through these real quick and try to figure out what I'd pay for these three here, because these are going to be the most expensive ones and then least expensive. So let me go back to, yeah, it's a really, really nice nose on that. And chocolate, maple, a little bit of barrel char, nice kind of rich brown sugars, really beautiful nose. Mm, it's fantastic. This feels the most expensive right now. Let's see what we've got here. It feels it's just different. It's an older, feels like an older whiskey profile to me. Little bit of heat that's there. So you're getting what feels like an older whiskey, little higher proof, lots of spice. That spice really, really lingers heavy in that one. This one I think was the heavy orange one. No, that was the more vanilla. That's the orange one. Yeah, this is a little bit of a, again, brown sugar, honey, like maybe almost like a smoked honey. Man, it's a really nice nose, really nice nose. Man, what the hell did she put in here? This one's probably throwing me off the most. Like it's just a little bit of a different profile. I'm thinking with it being like slightly different the way it is, the softness, those just really like underlying kind of notes is making me think of like a Four Roses of some sort. It's got that, it's got a great nose, but there's a, dare I say, an elegance to it. I don't know. I'm probably gonna make myself look like a complete idiot, but all right. Because these two I'm I say I'm pretty sure, but yeah, that's the one that's got a lot of orange in it. It makes me feel like MGP of some sort, but it doesn't feel very high it doesn't make me feel like it's very high proof. And I don't know what I would have that would be MGP. Um, the only thing I could think of that being, I don't know, maybe man, oh man, I'm just trying to like look around and see if something would jog my mind at all. Maybe like a Remus or something line along those lines, like more of a like the actual not like a Remus repeal, I don't think. But again, that's 100 proof. But that one right there is batch. That's 5, but that was a lot of older whiskey that's there. So I don't know. That could be this here. Maybe. I don't know. This just with that nose, it's a lot of orange. It's making me think MGP. I'm just gonna stick with like Remus on that one just because that's what I think. So that's a little. The more I smell this one, the more a little bit of a nutty characteristic comes out in that. Soft. It's not very high proof. Kind of a typical bourbon profile. Like, I mean, hell, it almost kind of comes across as a like a Heaven Hill, like maybe just like an Elijah Craig small batch or something. Is kind of how it's drinking. It's that 93, 95 proof. It definitely feels a less than 100 proof. So, all right. I think I've got it in terms of what I would be willing to pay for these. Let me pull my little phone back. I just wanted to pull the chat up. So, all right, there you go. All right, so this one here. So, actually, let me put them in order of. Actually, I think I've got them in order of how I would rank them. So, I'm going to go least expensive to most expensive here. So, glass number 1. Which I'm going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I'm going to say glass 5, I'm going to say is, I don't know, I'm going to say 20, I'm going to say $25. And I think maybe it's Elijah Craig small batch. That's my guess. All right, number 4, I'm going to go back to that. Man, again, it's a lot of orange. Man, I was going to say Remus, but I don't know if Remus drinks. That has a little more spice to it. Man, I don't know. I'm gonna say 4 is like a Remus. And I think it's maybe I'm gonna say 35. I'm gonna say $35. I don't know. I'm gonna say Remus, but it just feels MGP-ish to me, but who knows? All right, this is the one I was thinking was maybe like a like a Four Roses. It's just different. It's just coming across. What's up, Benny? Good to see you, brother. And I am like really confused with 3, like what that is. I'm gonna say Four Roses, and like price wise, I don't know. Like honestly, it's nice, but like just based on this and what I would pay for that, like I know what like a good Four Roses tastes like, but I don't know. I'm gonna say $60. I'm gonna say $60 on that. It feels like there's enough going on there that maybe that could be in that $55 or $60. And if I'm saying Four Roses, maybe the only thing I could think of was I don't think it's a barrel strength. It doesn't feel proofy enough necessarily, but It could be the small batch select. That's what I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna probably look like a complete idiot, which is pretty typical actually. So, all right, number 4 and my second most expensive one. Mm. Man, it just feels like an older profile. It's got some heat to it, richness, complexity. Just like in my mind, like I just want to keep going back to like a little bit of a um like an old Carter or something. And if we're in that range, if I'm thinking that's what it is, we're at that, couple $100 ish range somewhere around there. But I'm gonna say, I don't know, without knowing what it is, like what I'd pay for it, if I'm not gonna necessarily say old Carter, what it feels like, maybe I don't know, I'm just gonna say I'm gonna say 125. I'm gonna say old Carter, but that doesn't make any sense if I'm telling that kind of price. But again, it could still be that, but tasting what that is, um, actually, was two of the one of them I thought was a weeder. I don't think one is, but I said Remus, but I don't know. Again, if that is old Carter, like, if I'm tasting that blind, like based on that, and again, I'm probably, it feels like maybe $125, maybe. Like it's a really nice whiskey. It's got a great profile to it. Yeah, I mean, this one's got a lot. This got a lot going on. Yeah, I love the brown sugars, almost like some chocolate, like a cocoa powder, maple. Just a lot going on. A little bit of proof to it. All right, price wise, I don't know. One could be, nowadays with that profile, smells a little bit older, a lot of richness, some depth to it. I'm gonna say that 150. I'm gonna say 150 to 200. I'm gonna put a range on that one just because it's my top one, and it feels honestly like a man. I don't even know. See, it's got that like old Forester kind of like profile, like that rich, like brown sugar. Like there's a lot of those heavy notes. Um, Outside of that, the only thing I've gotten like that kind of heavy note on, um, like the brown sugar, chocolate, like that with the most recent stuff would be there's a four gate behind me, and some of the four gate actually specifically that Kelvin 60 that was it because I had some not long ago and it feels a little bit like it could be that. So I'm gonna say Kelvin or a four gate. I don't know. 60, I don't know. All right. And price wise, so yeah, I mean, if it was that, I mean, that's a couple $100 range. Like again, if this is old Carter, again, that's a couple $100 range. Would I have three as Four Roses? I put like the small batch select. Man, I don't know if that's a weeder or not. Like, I am so confused on three. And two is just coming across as very like MGP to me. With that like heavy orange. I mean, I've not had many weeded bourbons that taste like that. Like it doesn't. There's a lot of orange on it. Is what's making me think I'm just gonna stick with the Remus, just kind of like their whatever $35 bottle. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there's not much to one. Like one feels like if you didn't want to think about anything and you could just maybe pour something, but in this like flight, I mean, it is just falling super, super flat. So there's not much going on. I think that's why I put Elijah Craig small batch. So, all right. So I think I've got it. So I've got least expensive to most expensive, ranging anywhere from maybe 25 bucks upwards of 150 to 200, 125 here. I put 60 for number 3. Number 4 was 35 bucks, and number 1 or 5 was 25 bucks. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in terms of my pricing. So, all right, time to look like a complete idiot. So let's see. I think I told her to put the name of the glass on there so that I know which one is which. So, all right. So my least favorite, the one I think is I mean, it probably is my least favorite. It's probably how I really ranked them. And then based on price and what I think they would be, that's what I'm going to go with. So, all right. So Glass Wilderness Trail, early times. So it was not a Elijah Craig. Early times. She must have went digging on that. So number 5, this glass right here in the Wilderness Trail glass is early times. So let me write down what that was. That was early times. So again, I guess it is a bottle and bond, so it's 100 proof. Again, in this lineup, not a lot going on. So, all right. So my second, my $35, what I would pay $35 for, I said was Remus, and it's in the Jack Daniels glass, as you guys can see there. Jack Daniels was, oh my God, I got it. Remus. Awesome. Nailed that one. It was so heavy MGP, and I'll show you the list when I'm done with it. So I'm trying to be kind of surprised to see like right away what these things are. So it just was coming across as very, very MGP-ish, and it's kind of what it was giving me that kind of thought. So, all right, lucky 7 glass, as you can see here. I don't know, is it coming up? There we go. Lucky 7 glass. And I said it was a 4 Roses small batch select and 60 bucks. And again, so that's Lucky 7 glass. Old Forester. All right, I don't know what Old Forester that is. Let me send her something because I don't think she says. It just says Old Forester on there, but let me send her something and see if she will let me know what that is. What Old Forester is it? Oh, 1910. What the hell did I put? I put friggin' 4 Roses small batch select. Holy cow. That's 1910? Boy. I put 60 bucks. I got the complete wrong distillery though. Just was not coming across as I remember 1910. It's been a little while since I've had it, but man, oh man. Just for some reason, it was just very different to me. It was not drinking. Yeah, Chris, you called it. It was, well, close. Not really. I really screwed that one up. It was just coming across as very, very different. So I was kind of lost on that one. It just, the proof wasn't really hitting me. It was just kind of all over the place for me on that one. So, all right. So the next one is going to be my second one I've got as I put 125. I said Old Carter just because of the profile, but this is either, I don't know how she's got it. It's either going to be under Distill America or show as the oh, come on, show that Buffalo Trace. I don't know how she's got the glass on there. It's got both names on the side, but all right, let's see, Buffalo Trace or Distill Distill. Oh my God, I nailed it. Old Carter American whiskey must be the batch one, since it's the only one I've got that's open. But it gave me that feeling of an older whiskey. I wasn't necessarily sure based on the proof, because it didn't feel like. Let me see what that is. I mean, this is 134.9 proof, but it wasn't necessarily drinking that hot to me. And I don't know if my palate was just becoming acclimated a little bit to it or whatever. And again, I've had this open for a while, so maybe the air, unfortunately, has kind of killed this a little bit, but it had that older, dusty kind of, it had this kind of like older, dusty whiskey profile that I don't have a lot of those. But that was one of the things that Old Carter used to kind of bring, was that older whiskey kind of profile. And again, I think this goes back, and this is probably several years now. I don't know when they released their American whiskey batch one. I don't know what year that was, but I bet it was probably in maybe 2019, something along those lines. I don't know. So anyway, but yeah, so I said 125. I mean, I don't know. I mean, clearly it's worth more than that. I think when I bought this, I think I paid, I don't know. I mean, I think when I got this, it wasn't even like that. I don't want to say difficult to get. I mean, I got two of them, but I don't know. Maybe this was $150 at the time, 175 maybe. I don't know. So, but it just had that profile to it. So, all right. So the one that I've got clearly finished in my glass, which was in the whiskey nose glass. So, cheers to you, Marty. All right. I had 150 to 200 range. I put Foregate, like it felt like the most like rich, newest profile that Foregate has. What was that? Whiskey nose. Oh, Jesus. I swear to God, guys, I did not cheat. This is glass number, my most expensive one that I've got listed, and it is the Foregate Kelvin 60. It just had that really rich, chocolatey profile, and it was just, man, oh man. All right, I did probably the best I've done on any of these things I've ever done. You said Matt Madness. I usually shit the bed in Matt Madness stuff, but man, that just had such a great profile, and that is, it is going to literally be right up there in the top for my whiskeys of 2023. It is that good of a whiskey. So, and yeah, I had 150 to 200. I did have the Foregate 60. So I'll show. You can see the difference in writing, so you guys don't think I'm like cheating. So this is my wife's writing, as you can see. And then my like friggin' chicken scratch here, it looks like literally a chicken ran over top of it. So, so there's the lineup. So let's see, what did I get? I think I got three of the five. I missed the first one and definitely missed the third one. What the hell was 3 again? What was that one? And that was the Lucky 7. Oh, that was the Old Forester. 1910. All right, man, that is not. I'm gonna have to go and try that. So anyway, so all right, 3 out of 5 is not too bad. I will take that any day. Usually, I do not do very well in blinds for whatever reason, but these profiles were just giving me these certain feelings with things. So, lot of great things right there. So anyway, there we go. It gives you a good idea. I was pretty close price wise. So let's see. Early times, what you guys can get them for. That's probably, I don't know. I had $25 written down. Early times, is it much more than that? I don't know what you guys get it for, or if it's still a relatively, I don't want to say allocated, but we don't see really early times at all here. So I got these somewhere when I was out of town, probably while I was in Kentucky at some point. But I put $25 for the first one. The Remus, which I got, I said 35. I think that's pretty close to that price. Maybe it's a few dollars more. I think the Remus, depending on like whether it's a single barrel or not, but I don't know about that. So I put 30, I put 35. All right, $25 for the early times. Oh, and you get a 175 because I think the ones I've got are just 1 liters. I think that's how I have them. But I had $25. Remus again, which was this glass, I had $35. I think that's pretty standard. The middle one, which I completely messed up, I had Four Roses Small Batch Select and ended up being the Old Forester 1910. But all right, $45. All right, so I'm going in the right direction, except for, yeah, maybe I did get this. Maybe I nailed all 5 of them on the price wise. So if number 3 was again 1910, I don't know, what's 1910 for you guys? Maybe $55. I think that's about what it would be here. Can't ask Chris because he's Canadian, so that all that shit that goes way out the. You have to, like, for them, you have to then decrease about 30% off that so you can Americanize that. So, but I think the 1910 is maybe in that $55 range. I put 60. It felt like a $60 whiskey to me at the time. And then the Old Carter, which I ended up getting and wasn't sure, but it felt like, again, that whiskey profile. You know what? And to be honest, with this bottle here, this is probably something I need to kill or whatever, but I think with this that it's not even remotely close to what this bottle used to be when it was probably, fuller and a little bit, not as much air had a chance to hit this thing. But again, it was good. I don't think this whiskey in this bottle now is a fair representation of what this bottle honestly used to be. But it just kind of gave me that little bit of a feeling of that old kind of dusty oak on a whiskey, and that's what made me kind of think of what that was. So I put 125. It's probably more than that. I mean, I don't know what that bottle would be now. You're not going to find American Whiskey Batch 1 probably anywhere at this point. So, and then number 5, I got that one as well. I put Forgate, the Kelvin 60, which is a absolutely incredible bottle. If you guys can find it, which is this bad boy right here. One of my favorite whiskeys of all of 2023. I put 150 to 200 based on what it was, and it is worth all of that. So anyway, guys, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it. I'm planning on doing a live stream next Tuesday as well, leading up to Christmas. I don't know if there's going to be a lot of people traveling or whatever it would be, but if I can get one in, I would love to do one. I'm going to try to figure out what I will do for next week, but really enjoy doing these. I mean, doing stuff on Tuesday nights kind of breaks up the week a little bit as well. But doing something like this, I'm glad we were able to put a little kind of blind together. I feel pretty damn good about price-wise, pretty much nailing these things, except I had no idea what the hell 3 was. 3 really threw me off quite a bit. 2, my 5th one, or the least expensive one, I had the Elijah Craig Small Batch. But man, I know Early Times on its own is a really nice bourbon, but I could have just swore there was just more something to the Early Times. I don't know. I'm gonna have to try it when we're done or whatever. But anyway, if for some reason I'm not on next week, which I'm planning on it, hopefully everybody has a great Christmas or whatever it is that you celebrate. Spend some time with friends and family. That's what it's all about. Slow down, kind of take your time. bring some good whiskeys wherever it is you go. People appreciate it. I know a lot of us in the chat, we have a lot of great whiskey. There's, a lot of people that don't have an opportunity to get some of the whiskeys that we all have, and being able to share it is one of the most important things, that you can do with this stuff. So, share it, enjoy your time. But thanks, everyone. More importantly, I appreciate you hanging out with me for a little while on a Tuesday night. Greatly appreciate it. Always like seeing a lot of the same faces. Love seeing a few new ones as well. So I appreciate it. So in maybe about the next 10-ish minutes, 15 minutes, maybe tops, I'll be dropping a link in Patreon, which we'll be doing an update to what we've got coming for this Friday, some other things coming. And then I've got to run downstairs and grab my Driftless Glen bottles, the more of the donuts. I'm also going to grab the rare character rye that we just released, which can't wait to hear a lot of people's comments on that one. So I'll be dropping a link in Patreon. So watch for that in the next 10, 15 minutes. And I'll open it up at some point. So I'd really like to see some of you guys, in there tonight, maybe just kind of letting us know what you think of any of the Driftless or the rare character, whatever it may be. But with that being said, thank you guys so much. Greatly appreciate you hanging out with me on another Tuesday night. Had a good time. Thanks to my wife for putting this together. I'm pretty happy I did as well as I did. But she did a good job, I think, putting some really interesting things in this one. So anyway, thanks, guys. Have a good night. Merry Christmas to everybody. For some reason, if I don't see you guys next week, but remember, it's about the journey, not the destination. I'm dropping a link over in Patreon in a few minutes. Want to see a lot of you guys over there. If you're not part of the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club, get on board. We got a lot of great things going on. I'll leave it at that. Cheers, guys. Have a great week, and we will talk to you next week. See you guys.